everybody, welcome. So, one of the questions that I get asked a lot in my reflexology practice is, how can I get a better night's sleep? Or I hear a lot from my clients. It's honestly one of the biggest concerns that my clients have is not getting either enough sleep or enough quality sleep. So I thought I'd pop on here and do a little video to talk about how to get a better night's sleep. Some really simple tips that I don't know if you've heard of them or not, but maybe you have and you thought, yeah, they probably don't even work, but I'm telling you, they do. So first and foremost, as the sun begins to actually lower, you want to start to lower the lighting in your house. Okay, so the sun goes down, so does your lighting. Why do you want to do that? Because the darker your environment is, the more melatonin hormone is going to be produced in your body. And melatonin is what helps us sleep. So if we are exposed to a lot of bright lights, it's great for our serotonin, which is the accompanying hormone that works with melatonin, but not so great when it's like 10 o'clock at night and you're like wired, you want to sleep. So you need to get more melatonin in the body. So that's one way. Start to lower the lighting in your place. Lights on a low dim, turn some lights off, get some candles going. Second thing you want to do, if you are someone who is on your device a lot, first of all, get yourself some of those blue glasses. They really do work, and wear them every time you're on a device. So if you're sitting in front of the computer for several hours a day working, or you're on your phone and you're swiping through Instagram or whatever, liking something on Facebook, get those on because they protect your eyes from overstimulation. And what happens when your eyes get overstimulated, so does the pineal gland, okay? If the pineal gland gets overstimulated, you're not going to sleep, because it's going to be getting this consistent amount of light from your device. And yeah, they've upgraded a lot of the devices where, you can go into dark mode or nighttime light or whatever, which is great. You definitely want to make sure that those settings are on your devices, but also get those glasses on. You can get them at like Amazon for like $12 or $15. They're not super expensive. Okay. Third thing you want to do, speaking of devices, get off your devices at least 2 hours before you're going to go to bed, okay? Because again, that's gonna help start to release the serotonin from the body and start to allow the body to produce the melatonin, okay? Next thing you wanna do, your bedroom. Get the devices and alarm clocks that plug into the wall or any other devices you have out of there. If you have to have like a device in there, like a clock to like wake you up, turn your clock around so you don't see the light from the clock at night, okay? You want your room to be as dark as possible. So if you were laying in bed at night, you should be able to put your hand out and you should not be able to see it. It should be pitch black. Okay? Ways that you can do that without spending a fortune. You gotta love my DIY project that I actually did. So I looked to have some blackout curtains and blackout blinds installed. So I invested in some really nice quality blackout curtains that went like floor to ceiling, and they were great. And I thought, yeah, that should be enough. No, it wasn't. I could still like wake up in the middle of the night and I could kind of see my hand. I wanted it to be pitch black. So the next thing I did was I went to the dollar store because I didn't want to spend a whole lot of money on blackout blinds. So I bought Bristol board and duct tape. I know it doesn't look pretty, but here's the thing. It's your bedroom, and your bedroom should stay dark as much as possible. It's okay if you want to open up a window for some fresh air. In fact, I always sleep with the window partially open because the cooler your room is, the better you're going to sleep. And that's something I'll talk about afterwards. Okay. So getting back to the blackout blinds, what I did was I bought Bristol board. I bought white and then I bought black pieces. Okay. And what I did was I cut them to paste in my window frame. And then I grab the duct tape and I use that to put it all into place. I put the white against the window and then I put the black on the inside. Why did I do that? Well, I first did it before with just the black and it worked. But then of course, as the sun started to come in, the black Bristol board started to fade. And over time, I mean, it took a while, but over time it faded and then it started getting a little bit lighter in my bedroom at night. So the white against the window will help reflect the light away and also protect the black. So then I installed all that. It still allows me to keep my window open if I want to. And, pardon me. And between that and my blackout curtains, my bedroom is pitch black at night. Okay, so that's really important because again, the minute your skin receives any kind of light stimulus, it signals the pineal gland to wake up. Okay, and when that happens, then that means the serotonin is starting to be produced in the body and not the melatonin. So that's another really great tip. And quite frankly, it doesn't cost a lot of money. I think it cost me like $8 to buy, and I had like 2 big windows in my bedroom. Okay, now I always keep my blinds closed and my curtains closed because it keeps my room dark. And that's the next thing that I want to talk about is your room. So the darker your room is, the better it is overall because the temperature will stay cool. And this is really important in the summertime when it is super hot out. If your body is too hot at night, you're not going to sleep. Now, reverse that. If your bedroom is frightfully freezing cold, that's not going to help either. So you want it cool enough, but not too cool, okay? So it's okay, open the window a little bit because it's really good to get the fresh air. But you know what? If you're, you don't really care about the aesthetics, just keep the blinds and the curtains closed at all times, okay? And then the next thing that I want to talk about is actually related to food. So you want to try to see if you can go to bed a minimum of 2 to 4 hours after you've eaten. So going to bed right away on a full stomach is not good for your digestive system because what ends up happening is your digestive organs are meant to nourish and replenish themselves at night, which means basically they're not supposed to be doing anything. They're supposed to shut down. Not shut down completely, but they're supposed to shut down and relax so that they can restore and recharge. If you are going to bed on a full stomach, what ends up happening is that your digestive organs are actually working. And that will keep you awake because what's happening is your body is using energy to help digest your food. Now, if you find like you're ready to go to bed and you're like, oh, I'm kind of hungry, this is where you got to be really careful. It's okay to have a really small snack, but make it super small, okay? Like my rule of thumb is if I have to have a snack before I go to bed, I will have like half a banana and like a teaspoon of like a nut butter with a little bit of cinnamon. And that's like, you want to have something that's somewhat of a complete meal. So the beautiful thing about a tiny piece of fruit with some nut butter and cinnamon is that the cinnamon helps with regulating your blood sugar levels so that you're not getting those blood sugar spikes in the middle of the night, which will of course wake you up. The fruit is your carb, and then the nut butter is actually a source of protein and fat. So between the carbs, the protein, and the fat, it makes a complete meal, right? And that will just like curb the appetite. You don't want to have a big meal. And then the last thing that I actually want to talk about is what you wear to bed. So some people, they say that it's best to sleep without any clothing because there's no restriction, which allows the body to be more relaxed. But what you want to make sure is whatever you are, if you're someone who wears, pajamas to bed, try to avoid the really thick flannel pajamas, even in the middle of the winter. Okay, so you want to wear something that's flowy, that allows for air circulation through you, even though you're going to have your window maybe partially open. Okay, so just comfortable clothing. So these are just some tips. Now the very last thing that I want to talk about is actually playing with your feet before you go to bed. So one of the pressure points, the brain pressure point, is really good to stimulate before you go to bed. And you can do this while you're actually in bed. So maybe you grab like a little bit of a carrier oil, or if you're someone who works with essential oils, grab something calming like a lavender or a Roman chamomile, which is really nice. And what you would do is you would just start to stimulate the brain toe reflex point. So it's basically on the big toe, the second, third, fourth, and fifth toe of each toe. It's at the very top of the toes, and you're just gonna press in there and start to make like some little circles. A few directions one time and then a few directions the opposite way, and then you can hold and press it gently for about 5 to 10 breaths and then move on to each toe. And of course you're going to want to do both feet. So that just helps like really, signal your brain to start to shut down. And there's one other thing. I know I wanted to talk about this. TV. So if you're someone who likes to watch TV before you go to bed, and I'm one of them, it actually helps me relax. Try to avoid watching anything disturbing. So like watching a horror movie just before you go to bed is not good. The other thing is don't watch anything too heavy, like the news, or even like a really heavy drama. So try to go for something a little bit lighter and fluffier, like kind of like something mindless. If TV isn't your thing to help you relax at night, grab a book. Grab a cup of like chamomile tea, and just settle in with that. And when you go to bed, just make sure that the extremities of your body have been warmed up. So if your feet or hands are cold when you go to bed, your body again is not going to relax because it's going to use energy to try to create circulation through the extremities. So even if you have to put some socks and some mittens on while you're in bed, I can guarantee you by the time you wake up in the morning, all of that's going to be off anyway. So make sure that you are warm enough, but not roasting. All right? Okay. So I hope that those tips help and you have a wonderful night's sleep. Namaste.